My name is Liam and I'm 23 years old. What I'm about to share will make you question the masks people wear, especially those closest to you. Last month, my cousin Emma invited me to her engagement party in Brooklyn Heights to meet her fiancé Noah's parents, Maeve and Henry Benjamin, who were flying in from Dubai. They thought I was a broke office clerk, scraping by in a cramped Maplewood apartment. I let them believe it, arriving in a faded hoodie, clutching a tattered backpack, playing the part of a poor, unremarkable cousin. But when I stepped into the glittering ballroom of the Crescent Foundation's venue in Brooklyn Heights, everything changed. By the night's end, Maeve and Henry's arrogance lay in ruins. Emma discovered a truth about me that reshaped our family, and they got what they deserved. Let me tell you how it unfolded. For 5 years, I've lived a life of deliberate simplicity. To Emma, my closest cousin, I'm just Liam, the guy who takes the subway from Maplewood to a dead-end job, cooks ramen in a tiny kitchen, and rides a second-hand bike through Raven Creek's quiet streets. She doesn't know I earn $300,000 a month as the silent founder of Summit Technologies, Inc., a cybersecurity firm that safeguards America's top financial platforms. From banks in Pacific Bay to hedge funds in Silver Lake, I've closed billion-dollar deals, advised Fortune 500 CEOs, and built a fortune that could buy penthouses in Brooklyn Heights. But I never told Emma or anyone in our family. Why? Because wealth isn't a trophy to flaunt. I grew up in Cedar Valley, a small town in upstate New York, where my grandfather, a history teacher at Everstone High School, taught me that true worth lies in integrity, not possessions. So, I hide my wealth, invest every dollar, and live in a one-bedroom apartment in Maplewood, wearing thrift store clothes and shopping at corner delis. Real power doesn't boast. It observes, it waits, it reveals. Emma, 24, grew up believing I was just another small-town kid trying to survive in the city. We were raised like siblings by our single mothers in Cedar Valley, sharing textbooks and dreams by the banks of Raven Creek. I helped fund her fashion design degree at a New York college through freelance gigs, never hinting at my real income. She moved to Brooklyn Heights, launched her own clothing line, and met Noah, a sharp hedge fund analyst from a wealthy family based in Dubai. When she announced her engagement, I was thrilled but wary. Noah seemed sincere, but his parents, Maeve and Henry Benjamin, were a mystery. Emma mentioned their Dubai penthouse, their yacht docked in Pacific Bay, their connections to global elites. My instincts, honed by years navigating the cutthroat tech world, warned me they valued status over substance. So, when Emma called last Tuesday, her voice trembling, I sensed trouble. "Liam, Noah's parents are coming for the engagement party," she said. "It's at the Crescent Foundation's venue in Brooklyn Heights on Saturday. They really want to meet the family. Please come." Her tone wasn't warm, it was anxious, as if she feared I'd embarrass her. "What do they know about me?" I asked calmly. A pause. "I told them you're a clerk, that you live simply in Maplewood, that you don't have much." The word simply stung, carrying her fear that I'd look out of place among Noah's elite family. I took a deep breath. "All right, Emma, I'll be there." Hanging up, I surveyed my Maplewood apartment. Peeling paint, a sagging couch, no hint of luxury. If Emma and the Benjamins saw me as a poor nobody, I'd play the role to test their character. I wanted to see how they'd treat someone they thought had nothing. Saturday evening arrived. I chose my shabbiest outfit, a faded gray hoodie with frayed sleeves, worn jeans, and scuffed sneakers. No watch, no phone visible, just a cheap canvas backpack. In the mirror, I looked like a guy life had overlooked. Perfect. I took the subway from Maplewood to Brooklyn Heights, the train rattling with commuters and street musicians. My mind churned with anticipation and dread, anticipation for the truth I'd uncover, dread that Emma might be hurt by it. I'd raised her like a sister, teaching her to value honesty, but love can blind even the sharpest hearts. The Crescent Foundation's venue in Brooklyn Heights glowed like a beacon, its glass walls reflecting the Manhattan skyline. I stepped off the subway, bought a hot dog from a Raven Creek vendor, and walked to the venue, my sneakers slapping the pavement. The doorman in a crisp suit eyed my attire but let me pass. Inside, the ballroom was a spectacle. Chandeliers glittering, tables draped in silk, and a view of the East River. Emma stood near a grand table, radiant in a silver gown. Her fiancé Noah beside her in a tailored tuxedo, his smile tense. Next to them were Maeve and Henry Benjamin, seated like royalty. Henry wore a bespoke suit, a Patek Philippe watch gleaming. Maeve, in a designer gown, sparkled with diamonds, necklace, earrings, rings. Their presence screamed wealth, their postures radiating superiority. I shuffled toward them, head slightly bowed, clutching my backpack. Emma saw me first, her eyes widening in embarrassment. "Liam," she said, her voice tight, "you're here." Noah offered a quick handshake, his grip hesitant. "Good to meet you, man." His eyes flicked to his parents. Emma introduced me, her voice faltering. "Mom, Dad, this is my cousin Liam, like my brother." Maeve's gaze swept over me. Hoodie, sneakers, backpack, her lips curving into a thin, polite smile. "A pleasure," she said, her hand cold, her rings glinting. Henry's handshake was brief, dismissive. "Nice to meet you," he muttered, barely looking at me. I sat at the table's edge, as if an afterthought, no one helping with my chair. The waiter distributed leather-bound menus, dishes listed in English and French, no prices visible. I opened mine, squinting as if confused. Maeve noticed, leaning forward. "Liam, need help with the menu?" Her tone was sweet but patronizing. "Yeah, please," I replied softly. "I'm not used to places like this." Henry chuckled, a grating sound. "No worries, we'll pick something simple for you. Nothing too fancy." The word simple landed like a jab. Emma stared at her plate. Noah shifted uncomfortably, and I nodded. Playing the naive cousin, Maeve launched into small talk. Her flight from Dubai, their suite in Pacific Bay's top hotel, New York's chaos compared to their refined life. Then she pivoted to wealth, her voice calculated. "We've done well in Dubai," she said, touching her diamond necklace. "Real estate, investments in Silver Lake startups, the usual." Her eyes locked on me, expecting awe. I nodded meekly. "That's amazing, ma'am." Henry joined in, boasting about their yacht docked in Pacific Bay, their meetings with important people in LA. "You must work in an office, Liam?" he asked, his tone implying it was a formality. "Yes, sir," I said, looking down. "Just a clerk, small accounting firm in Raven Creek." Maeve's smile tightened. "How quaint." "Honest work, though. Not everyone needs ambition." Flashback to Cedar Valley, age 10. I sat on our porch, watching my grandfather teach history at Everstone High School. He earned $30,000 a year but gave half to neighbors struggling after the local mill closed. "Liam," he'd say, "money buys bread, but kindness buys respect." At 16, I coded my first app on a library computer, selling it for $5,000. By 18, I built a cybersecurity algorithm that caught a Silicon Valley firm's eye. At 20, I founded Summit Technologies Inc. under a pseudonym, hiding my identity to avoid attention. Now, at 23, my wealth grows daily, but I live like my grandfather, quietly, humbly, watching. Back at the table, Henry asked about my job. "What does a clerk do exactly?" "Filing, typing?" His tone dripped condescension. "Yes, sir," I said. "Paperwork, small tasks. Keeps me busy," Maeve sighed dramatically. "It must be hard, no? Living alone in Maplewood, no savings, no prospects?" Emma flinched, whispering, "Mom, please." Maeve waved her off. "I'm just concerned, dear. Family should look out for each other." I smiled faintly. "I manage, ma'am. Don't need much." Henry nodded, as if confirming my insignificance. Good attitude. Not everyone can aim high. The waiter brought appetizers, crab cakes and caviar canapes from Pacific Bay fisheries. Maeve commented on the cost. "This caviar is $1,000 a plate, but worth every cent. Quality matters, don't you think?" I nodded. "Sure, ma'am." "I wouldn't know, but it sounds nice." Emma's face reddened, her fingers twisting her napkin. Noah tried to change the topic, mentioning his job in Silver Lake, but Maeve steered back. "Noah's doing so well," she said. "7-figure salary plus bonuses. We helped him buy his condo in Dubai. $2 million prime location. She glanced at me. Do you own property, Liam? I shook my head. No, ma'am. I rent a small place in Maplewood. It's enough. Her pitying look was palpable. Oh, that's brave. Living simply at your age. Flashback to age 19. I sat in a San Francisco cafe, signing my first major deal, $10 million for my cybersecurity tech. The client, a tech mogul, laughed, thinking I was the intern. Where's the real boss? He asked. I smiled, signed my name, and walked away with the contract. I used the money to fund Emma's education, telling her it was a scholarship. She never questioned it, and I never corrected her. My wealth grew, but my life stayed small. Because the bigger you are, the quieter you must be. The main course arrived: lobster thermidor, truffle risotto, dishes costing more than a month's rent in Raven Creek. Maeve pointed out the prices. This risotto is $150 a plate. You don't get this quality in smaller places. Her eyes flicked to me, implying my world of corner diners. I nodded, chewing slowly, letting their words build my case. Noah tried to steer the conversation to the wedding, but Maeve interrupted. Emma, dear, you'll need support for a wedding like this. We've booked a planner in Silver Lake, $500,000 budget minimum. Your family, can they contribute? Emma froze, her eyes darting to me. We'll manage, she mumbled. Henry raised an eyebrow. Liam, you're like her brother. Can your family chip in? Even a small amount? I hesitated, playing the part. I don't have much, sir. Maybe a little. Maeve's smile was patronizing. Every bit helps, Liam. Even $100 is something. The number was an insult, a deliberate jab. Emma's face burned with shame, and I felt a cold anger stir, not explosive but sharp, like a blade being honed. I stayed quiet, letting them dig deeper. A new scene in Brooklyn Heights. As the meal progressed, I noticed an older couple at a nearby table, dressed simply, sharing a quiet laugh. They reminded me of my grandparents in Cedar Valley, who'd sit by Raven Creek, content with little. I glanced at Maeve, her diamond earrings catching the light, and wondered if she'd ever known such peace. The contrast fueled my resolve. I leaned toward Emma, whispering, "You okay?" She nodded, but her eyes were wet. "I'm sorry, Liam," she whispered back. "I didn't know they'd be like this." I squeezed her hand. "It's not your fault. Just watch." Maeve's voice cut through. "Liam, where do you live?" "Maplewood, right?" "Small place?" I nodded. "One room, ma'am. It's enough." She exchanged a look with Henry, their silent judgment loud. "You're young," Henry said. "You should aim higher. Maybe we can help. Noah knows people in Pacific Bay. Entry-level jobs better than clerk work." His offer was a thinly veiled insult. "Thank you, sir," I said, "but I'm okay." Maeve sighed. "So humble. But humility doesn't pay bills, does it?" The conversation turned to their lifestyle. Mansions in Dubai, private schools in Silver Lake, vacations in Pacific Bay. Each story was a flex, each glance at me a test. Emma grew quieter, her eyes apologetic. Noah, sensing the tension, mentioned a charity they supported through the Crescent Foundation. Maeve jumped in. "We donate millions every year. It's our duty to give back." She looked at me. "Do you donate, Liam?" I shrugged. "Whatever I can spare, ma'am. Small amounts." Her smile was smug. "Every dollar counts, I suppose." Flashback to Raven Creek, age 15. I sat by the creek, coding on a borrowed laptop, while Emma sketched dress designs nearby. A local shopkeeper, struggling after a flood, asked my grandfather for help. He gave him $200, half his savings, without hesitation. "Why, Grandpa?" I asked. "Because wealth shared builds bridges, not walls," he said. That lesson stuck, guiding me to fund community projects in Cedar Valley anonymously through Summit Technologies, including rebuilding Everstone High School's library. Dessert arrived. Gold-dusted chocolate mousse, $50 a serving. Maeve raved about it. "This gold leaf is imported from Europe. You can't get this at local bakeries in Raven Creek." I nodded, eating slowly, my anger now a steady flame. Henry leaned forward, his tone serious. Liam, we need to talk family matters. Emma's marrying our son. We want the best for them, a stable, prosperous future. You're like her brother, but your situation might burden them. Emma gasped. Dad, stop! Maeve raised a hand. Let him speak, dear. It's important, Henry continued. We're prepared to help. Maybe $200 a month for you so you don't rely on Emma and Noah. In return, we'd ask you to step back a bit. Give them space to build their life. The offer hung like a noose, a bribe to erase me from Emma's life. My heart pounded, but my voice stayed calm. So $200 to disappear? Is that the price of family these days? Henry frowned. Don't misunderstand. We're trying to help. I nodded, my voice sharpening. Help? Like the $2 million you gave Noah for his Dubai condo? Or the $500,000 for his car? Maeve blinked, surprised I knew. Emma mentioned it, I said, though I'd accessed their financial records through Summit Technologies' data tools. Very generous, I added. Henry puffed up. We do what we can for our son. I smiled, cold now. And I do what I can for my family. But let me ask, does your money buy respect? Or just obedience? The table went silent. Maeve's face hardened. What are you implying? I leaned forward, dropping the naive act. I'm implying you've spent this entire night measuring me by my clothes, my job, my apartment. You've talked about your wealth, your status, but not once asked who I am. You offered me $200 to vanish because you think I'm a burden, but you don't know me at all. Emma stared, confused. Liam, what's going on? I looked at her, my voice softening. Emma, I've never told you the truth about me. I'm not a clerk. I'm the founder of Summit Technologies, Inc., America's leading cybersecurity firm. I earn $300,000 a month. I've built a fortune worth $60 million, all while living in that Maplewood apartment. The silence was deafening. Henry's jaw dropped. Maeve's hand froze on her glass, and Emma's eyes widened. What? She whispered. I continued, my voice steady. At 16, I coded my first app in Cedar Valley. At 18, I built a cybersecurity algorithm. At 20, I founded Summit Technologies under a pseudonym. I paid for your education, Emma, not some scholarship. I live simply because I learned from my grandfather at Everstone High School that wealth doesn't define you. Character does. I came here tonight pretending to be poor to see how they'd treat me. And they showed me exactly who they are, Maeve stammered. This is absurd. If you're so rich, why hide it? I looked her in the eye. To protect myself from people like you. People who judge worth by bank accounts. You humiliated me all night thinking I was nothing. You offered me alms to disappear. That's your truth, Henry scoffed. You deceived us. That's hardly noble, I nodded. Maybe, but my deception exposed your contempt. You treated me like trash because you thought I had nothing. Now you know I have more than you ever will. Not just money, but dignity. Emma's voice broke. Liam, why didn't you tell me? I softened. Because I wanted you to be you, not my shadow. I wanted you to value effort, not money. But tonight, I had to know if Noah's family would respect me without it. I turned to Maeve and Henry. You failed that test. Maeve's face reddened. You've no right to judge us. I stood, pulling out a black metal card, my Centurion Amex, worth more than their yacht. This pays for dinner. Consider it my gift to the family you tried to buy me out of. The waiter took the card, returning swiftly. All settled, Mr. Liam. Maeve stared at the card, her arrogance crumbling. Henry muttered, This changes nothing. I smiled. It changes everything. You'll see me at the wedding, at every family event, knowing I saw through you. Live with that. Emma hugged me, tears streaming. I'm so sorry, Liam. I held her. Don't be. Just choose who you want to be. Aftermath in Brooklyn Heights. As I left the venue, the Brooklyn Heights night felt lighter. I walked along the promenade, the Manhattan skyline glittering across the river. A street vendor near Raven Creek offered me a coffee, and I sat on a bench, reflecting. I'd spoken my truth, but the cost was heavy. Emma's pain, Noah's discomfort, the fracture in their family. Yet it was necessary. I thought of my grandfather, who'd taught me to value kindness over wealth, and felt at peace. A week later in Maplewood, Emma visited my apartment, her eyes red but determined. Liam, I confronted Noah's parents. I told them they were wrong to judge you. She paused. Noah stood by me. We're setting boundaries. No more money talk, no more control. I nodded. Good. That's how you build a real family. She hugged me. Thank you for showing me what matters. I smiled. You always knew, Emma. You just needed a reminder.